Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. My name is Doug Brunke. I am the founder and CEO of Global Chamber. We are actually this year celebrating our 10th anniversary for Global Chamber. We were formed with a mission and a vision to make global business easier and more simple so that we could do things like what we're doing here, have a conversation about a market and understand and connect to that market in a trusted way. The people who we will be speaking with today are generally members of Global Chamber, and if they're not, we'll identify them as such so that it makes the path to a connection and to more business and more success a little bit easier. And so today, what we'll do is we do have a speaker from AppRely, and we're going to be talking a little bit about not only what they do, but a little bit about the market in India. With the people in the room, we'll also be discussing some opportunities that they see, and we're also going to encourage anyone that's here, if you're interested, to either share or ask questions. Have ideas for growing your business or others' business, we're happy to hear. This is the Global Chamber India Cross Metro Meetup, and hopefully some of our key team members across the country will be joining as we go. What we'll do is we'll kick off our conversation today with Onkar Vhatkar. He's based in Pune. The AppRely company provides IT services, and one of the real impressive activities that they do is to apply their technology solutions to be able for companies to be more successful with applications and other technologies that they might like to incorporate in their business. My own background primarily was with a bigger company, the DuPont company, and I remember I was mainly more of on the business, running businesses and doing business development mostly across Asia. But at the tail end of my time with DuPont, I was leading a project for the implementation of SAP. And DuPont had failed twice with that implementation. And so we were the third try. And what I was told by the CEO was, this is it. We're either going to do this or DuPont's going to give up on SAP. So he chose me to be the interface between the technology group and the businesses in the business unit within DuPont that we were incorporating the technology. It's only about a little bit over a billion, like a billion and a billion and a half. So it wasn't the big company. It was a division, the polymers division. And there were about 10 businesses involved. And when you're incorporating technology across businesses, it can be a real challenge. I didn't really fully understand that until I understood what SAP could do. I understood that we needed to have some level of uniformity across all the businesses. And of course, any business doesn't want to change, unless there's some greater vision or greater plan. And even that, they don't want to change. They just want to do what they've been doing. And so incorporating technology generally is very difficult. To incorporate SAP back 20 years ago when it was not so flexible, and to require businesses to change, for instance, the way they discount price. There's dozens, maybe hundreds of ways you can actually do it, but we had to incorporate one way. And so I became very familiar with the application of technology and changing technology and incorporating it into businesses to be effective, to create value, which is really what it intends to do, is very difficult because people are involved. And so in the case, Ankur, of what you do, one of the things that Sayali has mentioned is cases, for instance, where you have helped companies use Monday.com and other technologies and incorporate them in ways that add value. And for me, I think that's amazing because I know to some extent what's involved. Could you share a little bit more about what you do? And also, we'd love to have maybe a little bit of a broader conversation as well about how AppRely fits into the grand scheme of technology companies within India, and then anything else that you'd like to share. I think we have about 10 minutes allocated for a presentation from you, and then we'll open up the floor to Q&A, and then we'll also open up the floor to others who have either things to add to what you have to say or other new items. We will wrap up. We're now about 10 minutes in, so we'll wrap up in about 45 minutes and plan to do that unless we finish up earlier. Onkar, does that set you up effectively? Have I made any errors in describing the company or the work that you're doing, or do you have any questions before you'd like to start?
Thanks a lot, Doc. Like as usual, like you have set the context very clearly for everyone. So thanks a lot, and even to the entire team of CC, appreciate your efforts that you put in such events together. So really appreciate that.
Thank you very much. What would you like to share today?
Yes, sure. Basically, so thanks a lot, everyone, for being here. So my name is Onkar Vhatkar, and I head the business development for AppRely Technologies. So at the core, like we are a technology company, but as Doc also mentioned, like it's challenging that you find a good technology vendor. So that is where even we started. So as our name says, AppRely. So like we are reliable application partner, or like it can be your technology partner. Okay. So my background is so by education, like I completed my engineering, and then I was like a hardcore techie, and I have done a lot of client facing roles where I realized that there's a lot of gap between the technology teams and the business teams. Okay. And that is where I thought like maybe we would need rather I can explore something in the business development or the sales side. Okay. So what I assume as business development is not really we are selling a solution, but rather like we are showing a value to the business team, okay, who is sitting on the other side of the table. Okay. What they understand is business language, they have some process, okay. With technology, we can automate those, right? We can provide them some case studies, like we already have a few softwares which can be integrated, automated, they can be put together, and in return the company, okay, they can see some value out of it, okay, in terms of money being saved or maybe the time being saved, okay, the resource burn down has gone down. Okay, so like that's what we do. Okay, so what I have seen like in my role is majorly the companies or the businesses are unaware about how technology can help them. So that is where like my role comes into. So about a few case study, like what exactly we work on, I'll quickly share my screen and you'll have a fair understanding of what type of softwares we generally build. So let me pull up my screen. I hope it's up there.
Yes.
Is
Yep.
it? Okay, great.
Yep, you're all
Sure.
set. It looks good.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks. So we started this company close to 10 years back. So like we build platforms for businesses, as I mentioned. So as like when it comes to platform, we can say it can be a mobile app, a website. It needs to be connected to various systems, right? It can be an accounting system or maybe an ERP that we have in place. Okay, different collaboration tools. So we connect all of these systems together, and that's what we call a platform. Okay. So as a company, like we have three verticals. Okay, the first two sections that you see is our custom development side of the story, where we build Android application, mobile apps, then the relevant backend, and then it is connected to different systems. We also put in some AI utilities, which we are going to discuss in the presentation. So that is our first vertical. The second is it's called CTRM services. So this is a vertical where we specifically build softwares for oil and gas companies which are needed for trading. Okay. And the third one, the last section that you see, that's the partnerships business. So basically, We are partnered with some global leading softwares, for example, Monday.com. Then there are a few RPA tools, Odoo. Then there's an enterprise project management tool called as Celoxys Zoho. So we are partnered with them, and our goal is we help them expand regionally. For example, like we look after the South Asia market and we help them selling their solutions, okay, customizing their platforms based on certain requirements. So that is how we are structured as a company. We operate from India, US, and Dubai as of now. So when it comes to technology, like as I said, we have a business problem, a business process that can be automated. Then there are various ways how we can write technology, right? So you might have a mobile app. The app nowadays can also be on a watch, right? So there are so every software that we are building, so it has its own piece. Okay, for example, we have to use different languages, different frameworks. So our teams like they are very well versed with using standard protocols, making sure the application is accessing the information very securely. Our team knows very well how to handle scalable applications. Okay, so like we have come across a lot of times that clients say there are a lot of software companies who can build softwares, but there are only a few who can build a scalable one. Okay, which is a secure and scalable one. So that is where like our role comes in. Again, as I mentioned, like we work with a lot of existing products, okay, which can be connected in different places. So whenever like we get a new project, we typically execute in agile methodology. Okay, the reason is, let's say if I get a new project where we have to automate a particular business process, maybe our team can, the first approach is maybe I can ask them to maybe prepare a plan for 8 months down the line, and then we realize some problems on the 6 months. Then the first 6 months have been wasted, right? So what we do is we divide the entire project plan into different sprints, okay, and then we execute. So every time, like for sprint is generally a 2 weeks duration where we plan the project, we build it, and we deploy it. So the client can also get it tested to the relevant end users, and we have the feedback in a shorter round of time where we have good bandwidth to either improvise the product or to make certain changes. Okay. So when it comes to software nowadays, like there are three ways how we can build a software. The first one is the traditional method, where we have three different ends: the front end, the middleware or the back end, and then the data. So everything is separated from each other, and then we have a security layer in between, which is letting your front end to access the data from the back end via a security layer. Then there's another security through which we fetch the data from the database. Okay, this is typically an approach when we go for when we have to build out a scalable or a secure project, okay, where they are going for a full-fledged development where we have multiple applications, multiple systems who are going to be implemented in the software. The second type of development is nowadays you must have heard of serverless platform. So what exactly is it? Very similar to what we just saw, but now I as a company do not have to maintain any servers as a hardware. Okay. Rather that is being done by the cloud company. So which can be AWS, Amazon, or Microsoft, right? So I can tell them like, hey, look, I need a server. It will spin up that hardware automatically. I don't have to manage it. Okay. So this is a managed service. So where can we use it? Is generally like this is used in POC kind of projects or proof of concepts where we have to test out a particular product. Okay. So we have to get it to the market in a very short amount of time. So generally, like we prefer this approach where your dependency on hardware is limited, but then like you can build the front end the way you want. Okay. You will have your different cloud functions the way you want. So that's the second version. And the last one, methodologies. Nowadays, we hear a lot of about low code or no code platform. Okay. Then there is Monday.com, then Zoho Creator, and there are a lot of platforms through which like we can create apps. So this is like generally, like we use when the turnaround time for project is within weeks. Okay. Where we do not have time to set up a proper technical environment, architecture, and then coding. Okay, then we go for Zoho Creator or any other low code, no code platform where it is just a matter of drag and dropping different modules. But of course, there we lack the customizability. Okay, we have very little control of changing their processes or workflows, right? But of course, everything comes in at its own cost, and based on the requirement, we typically suggest like what type of uh, development we should prefer. So I have a few case studies which we will go through. So like this is a project called as Enterless, which we had developed for a client in US. So what exactly it does is we have multiple CPAs, okay, who are working with multiple companies at one time, okay, and every company of this is using a different accounting system. Like one might be using Zero, then someone is using Zoho. We have some other accounting systems as well, like QuickBooks. Okay, the challenge is if the CPA is trying to enter data into all of those systems, there's a very high chance of errors, right? Manual errors. So what this software does is like you click a picture of your invoice, your bill, your ticket, or any expense, and you upload it to this software. So via OCR, optical character recognition, like we read the content of that particular page or the PDF, and we understand like where is it coming from, which client is it, and then it will be synced to your preferred accounting system. Okay. For example, if I get a document from, let's say, my company A, they are using QuickBooks, so that will be automatically sent. Okay, it will extract the amount, what type of expense is it, like is it an invoice or income. Okay, and it will push that to preferred accounting system. Going ahead, we even like connected it to Google Drive, so now you do not have to come to even like to upload on the software. You just extend the access to your Google Drive folder and you keep on uploading to that, and we then showcase this kind of dashboard that like I have 21 bills which are in process and then 18 of them are approved. Okay, if like we need any manual intervention, that is also highlighted so we can make sure the process goes on, right? So here like the manual intervention was like very low. Okay, no one has to sit down, understand like what client is it, where do I have to log in, and then I have to submit all the details. So now there was nothing, like people, like they just used to upload the docs and the rest of the things were taken care by the application. So here, like we had an Android iOS app and a website, as you can see on the right side. So next is a biofuel circle. So the problem this business is solving is like large enterprises in India, they need to generate their own green energy. Okay. So there are various sources, but one of them is biomass. Okay. Like we can pick up residue from farms and we can then burn it to create energy. Okay. So for example, let's say we have Coke. Okay. So they need renewable energy on their plant. So initially, like previously, they had to maintain relationship with farmers or briquette manufacturers who are biomass providers. Okay, they have to maintain the relationship and the entire supply chain. Okay, every company has to do this on their own. So what this particular platform did is they have like kind of transformed themselves into eBay of biomass. So now we have a digitized platform where we have farmers who create the biomass, then briquette manufacturers who package it, then there are a transporter, and then the companies who wish to buy it. So now it is a trading platform where large companies can come in and they can say, I need 10 metric tons of biomass, let's say for the next 3 months. And then rest of the people can fulfill that particular requirement. Everything is taken care by the platform. You discover a deal. We even have options implemented. So the buyer and the seller, they get the best value. All the paperwork happens in the platform. Even the transport is tracked. So just like Uber, the receiving party can see like where exactly my shipment is being tracked through. Okay, then even the payments are being done. So like this, we are kind of technology partner to this company. We have been working with them for more or like 5-6 years now, and this product, like they are continuously evolving it based on the business needs, and we are like supporting that. Again, from a like the business problem was we had to create a supply chain for biomass, and like we have done it, okay, via providing value in the technologies, right? So again, like we have an Android iOS app which is being used by the farmers, then by the transporters, and then there is a website, as you can see on the right side, which is being used by the companies or the buyers majority, so they can track all of their stuff, like what is the order quantity, what is the quality. So we even have integrated a hardware kit through which we can find out the quality of the biomass that is being sent. Okay, so just like we have a filter on Amazon, like show me a 5-star rated item. Okay, that is how like we can even do in this particular platform. Like show me the highest quality of biomass suppliers. Okay, and like it handles all of that end to end. Going forward, so this is a project from Mexico that we have worked on. It's called Snup. So the problem that they wanted to solve is, so there are a lot of small restaurants, spas, bars, garages, okay, or gyms around us, okay. who need to market their service to outside world. But of course, they cannot have ads going on Facebook or maybe any other large platform. So what business problem we are solving in this is, we have this application through which influencers can come in and they can see like what are the businesses that are around me. I can go in, I can visit that particular place. It can be a restaurant or a spa. I take a picture and then upload that to Facebook. Now what happens? Local audience will who are following that influencer, they get to know about this place, and indirectly like we are generating the business for the small restaurant. Okay, so here how the circle completes. These businesses offer some goodies, some discounts to the influencers based on the insights that they are getting from their story. For example, maybe they got 2000 likes, they got, let's say, 300 comments. So we used to fetch all of that data via Meta APIs or Facebook APIs, and we used to show the restaurant owners like this particular influencer who came to your restaurant, they have generated this much of traction, and then they used to award that particular influencer. So here the influencers were using their own local traffic or local reach to attract audience or business to local businesses. Okay, so that's what the problem statement was. Now coming to the technology perspective, so we had three different applications. The first one you see on the screenshot, that's the user application. Okay, like where the influencers can come in, they can see what all discounts I'm getting, and then they can claim that. Then there was a business app which was more of for order management and all of that. And there was an admin portal through which we can track, like we can control all of this inventory. If we have to add a new vendor, all the statistics about the application, like those were being tracked. So now when like we did a POC for this particular application, it went well. And then we launched this app into 11 cities in Mexico. Okay. And then we had to make sure the software that we had built, it was scalable enough to handle that particular load. Like during New Year's or like when you have any festival, it used to have a good amount of traction. And then we had to make sure our server replicates to make sure the app is working fine, right? So we have like generally we build these kind of systems like which have tons of third parties connected. It is expecting a high load. But then again, like we cannot deploy a high costing machine all the time in the server, but rather it should scale based on demand, right? So that is what our expertise is. Like we give a particular client a very measurable solution, which is cost effective as well. Then this was another application called as Fit Party. So again, coming back to our format, the business problem is, let's say if I'm sitting in India and my family is back in US, are we sure? Are they making sure like they are taking a walk around? Okay, can we set some challenge or a target to them? So like this is what this app was doing. So we can create a group like WhatsApp, okay, and we can set a challenge. Like let's say everyone in the family have to walk 5,000 steps every day. Okay, now this app can be connected to your Google Fit, your Fitbit, or Samsung Fit, or any other different fitness related applications. And we used to fetch that data, and every day we used to have a leaderboard. Okay, and then we can then call back, or we can let our family know like they are not really meeting their challenges daily, which is not a good, which is not a good thing considering health as health consciousness, right? So again, like from technology perspective, it had to be connected with various system. So and it had to create everything in real time. For example, if I'm walking, let's say 20 steps, it should show all of that in real time, right? That is where people were keeping, like they were pushing each other. So this app was built on Android and iOS with a technology called as a React Native. So in here, like we build a single code base, but then it can be deployed on both Android and iOS. And then this was built on the serverless technology where we were using Google Firebase, and it used to scale the server based on the demand. Yeah, then this is a social media platform which we had built for a client in Spain. So this was being used by generally old age people to socialize, right? We were having different events which can be listed via an admin portal, and then people can come in, they can pay for those events, and like it used to show who all are attending, what is their profile. So just to social out, just to have a few meetups, like we had developed this, and again, like it was multilingual. And additionally, like one very interesting feature it had is as like this was majorly being used by 50, 60 plus age group, we had an something called as like audio enablement of the application. So everything that you see on the app, like you can go inside and like you can click an audio button and it would read out for you, right? Because people might have some issues with that. So like very customized for a particular user experience context.
Yeah.
Again, like we have an Android iOS app, and then there was admin portal that we have like built such systems for a lot of our clients, like a waste management platform. I'll not go into details. And of course, like majority of the times, people, end users are reluctant to get on any of admin portals or applications. So we also connect that application via WhatsApp. So people can send messages, and then we have chatbots, okay, which is then connected to our backend system. So the user experience stays at higher. Like we observe a very high adoption rate internally, right? So we build such kind of innovative solutions. And yeah, quickly to summarize, like as I mentioned, like these are custom softwares that we have built for. But apart from that, like we also offer Zoho consultation customization. So where let's say a particular company needs to deploy an ERP, so we help in those consultations as well. And as I mentioned, like we are also a leading channel partner of Monday.com. Like we happen to be one of the top partner in the South Asia region, and we work with more or like 40 different accounts here in India and neighboring countries, right? Yeah, so I think we are good, dog, right? I think we have ran a bit of out of time, so good to go. So maybe we can open the stage for the questions, or how do you suggest it, please?
Oh, that sounds great. Happy to do that. Does anybody, I don't see any hands up, but feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions. I have some too, but anyone in the audience have a question for Onkar, please?
I do, Doc.
Yes, please go ahead.
Mark here. Yeah. So, Onkar, I saw that you guys work with customers from all over, it's Mexico or the US or even Spain, where I'm from. I'd like to know what your value proposition is, and why would someone from Spain choose you over another company? Why would they go to India to look for a supplier for this type of service?
Okay, yeah. Mark, like as I highlighted initially, as well as I said, there are a lot of companies or people who can build applications, okay? But when it comes to security, okay, when it comes to scalability, is where generally people uh, stand behind, okay? Like as we say, the devil lies in the details, okay? So always like whenever we get a new project, so we kind of build a POC. So the advantage is like it's a very short duration project. So that gives the comfort and the advancement about our technology knowledge to the business. Okay, what kind of softwares we build? Okay, how secure is it? Like how can we scale it? Like is it future proof? Let's say we are building an app, okay, and maybe it's 6 months down the line we have to add a new feature. Okay, your app should be designed in such a way that it should adapt to those changes. Okay, we have like working with the clients like more than 5 years, 6 years, what we have seen, their business model changes. So whatever you have built on day one, that is not valid today. So is your software is built technically, is it architect in a correct way where it can accommodate changes? So these are the things, okay, where we stand apart from other vendors. And to give those confidence, we generally do a short amount, like a POC, as mentioned, the proof of concept, and like which we had done similarly with this client as well, right? So this was being maintained by a different vendor initially, but they had a few challenge with them, so they were looking for some vendors, and that is how like we jumped into, and it. So
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, thanks.
Could you talk a little bit about the scope of clients that you have in terms of where are the best countries for you to operate? Where does it make sense for companies to use the services?
Yeah, sure. So, Doc, like majority for us, like majority of our clients are in US and Mexico. Okay, but we are associated with a few large companies in India. For example, Biofuel Circle, right? So, like as I mentioned, we happen to be the technology partner, And then company has seen immense scale from a business perspective as well. Okay. And as they are, into a business where they are complying to net zero requirement, like we are also in that journey where probably going ahead, this might also affect fuel imports of the country, right? So we are into that vision, we are into that journey with the company. So I would say from a market perspective, like there are different aspects, like is it business, is it value we are generating, or is it a strategic investment? So like it's very agnostic, I would say.
Okay. So which countries then? People from anywhere in the world, I'm guessing, can access what you're doing, but what are the best countries for you? It sounds like you do some work in the Middle East, and I think one of your case studies was actually a company in India as well. I think you have operations in the US. And so when you think about the countries where people have best access to your team, where would that be?
Yeah, it will be US.
US. Okay. How about anyone in Europe, or so is your business really mainly focused in on India, US?
So like we are focused on three regions: US, Middle East, and India. Okay, but majority of that is from US and Mexico region. Like from Europe, UK, like we have got a few projects. Okay, but like those were via our references. So we are not like doing any activities actively, but we do get a few requests from.
I see. Okay.
So, but yeah, happy to explore if we have any collaboration opportunities in there.
Okay. Oh, that sounds good. Sayali, did you have anything to add, or anything that we've left out so far that you'd like to mention? Because you're based in the US, and given the focus in of the market there, what else should we know?
Sure, Doug. So, Onkar, thanks for the presentation and discussing few case studies here. I would like to add here is like people sometimes do not understand what custom software solutions and what exactly we do offer, but it is more of getting a help of technology to boost your business. But at the same time, you need to work with a reliable vendor, reliable tech partner who can support you along the way. Like Onkar has said that the application has to be secure enough. Application should be scalable, reliable, reusable. One of the case study he has shared about the Snap, which was earlier a different kind of model, but within COVID, we had to change it into a food delivery service app. So all that technology magic, you need somebody who has a core understanding of technology and how it can automate your services and also help your operations, efficiency, accuracy, forecasting, and a lot of other things. So that is where we come in. We have seen businesses wherein they get technology and they struggle with it. We want to change that situation. We would like to make sure that businesses take help of technology for the betterment of their business, for increasing their sales, increasing the comfort and the services that their clients get from them.
So in terms of companies that you're working with, or you personally are interested in working with, could you explain a little bit more about that? Are there particular market segments that you're finding to be more interesting than others? Or when you look at companies that you're working with, is it things like Monday.com and other apps that they may have that are an early signal that they could be a good client for you?
Onkar, could you please flash the
Yes.
one of the slides which talks about the integrations, the third-party integrations that we support? Um, Doug, we do work with companies like Monday and Udo and Zoho, but we entered into that partnership model just because one of our clients referred us to Monday.com. That is how it started. they told
Yeah.
Monday.com that this team is really good, and they can make many impossible business scenarios possible through their core technical knowledge. And that's where we got to start with Monday.com, and with our performance and everything, Monday.com offered us a gold partnership, and that's how the partnership went ahead. We came across some of the US clients here who has been using some SaaS-based products like Zoho for their business. And when we did a software usability audit, we found that they were not even using 20% of the features that come out of box, and they were paying the complete subscription amount for number of users, number of team members for the entire company, right? And that's where we actually got in different customizations tailored to their business operations, made those automation do magic for them, and they really see the value. And that's where even Zoho also came to us that, would you like to be partner with us? So that is what the value we bring in when we work. And these are the integrations that we work in different with the different systems, whether it is accounting system, whether it is ERP, whether it is reporting, analytics, different payment integrations, having a cloud, deploying the software on a cloud. All of those integration, we make sure that it is seamless, data flows without any issues, and also these systems are scalable and also changeable based on the business model changes, based on the time changes, making sure the short term and long term goals of businesses have been taken care.
Just to add here, Doug. So if you'd ask me like what is a domain or an industry that we would like to work with, it's like looking at portfolio. So waste management is something that we have been actively working for. Okay. So like when it comes to waste management, we have two types: agricultural and then urban waste management. Okay. So we work a lot of on that aspect. So for example, biofuel circle. So that's more of into agricultural waste management. And then in Dubai, we are working with a few clients which are more of into urban waste management. And we have like provided them end-to-end solution. Okay.
Yeah.
So if there is anyone in that space of sustainable energy or waste management, like we would love to have a few connects if possible.
I see. That
Yeah,
helps.
even businesses, they might be having some legacy system, and they would like to migrate to the latest technology, migrate the data to the newer systems, build some new components with the latest technologies. That's where also we help. We help in data analytics and report building, as the slide shows.
Got it. How does what you're doing compare to what others in India are doing, and also IT companies in other countries? I think all of us recognize that India has been a leader in outsourced technology for decades, and now other countries from around the world have IT services that they're offering. How does what you're talking about and what you do compare with what a normal company would see out in the marketplace today?
Yeah. So on Doc, like it's again like I would not comment on the other competitors in the business, right? But again, like I would stick to very clear thoughts of like where our expertise comes into is if you need a solid solution that can change or adapt or scale based on your business, like that is where our expertise would come into.
And this question is quite often, who are your competitors and how you are differentiating, but it is more of what expertise we have and what value we bring in when we provide the solutions to our clients. So we are more, we collaborate with our set of expertise than competing. So when actually we onboard, we thoroughly look at what the business problem is, and we come up with a solution that will go in the long run.
Okay, sounds good. Congratulations on the success of what you're doing, and we look forward to connecting you with more. It was fun to hear more about the agriculture opportunities that you have. It's very interesting. I know a
Um,
few of the folks here in the audience have agriculture backgrounds.
Great. So, Doug, if you have a minute, I can just ask Onkar to flash the waste management slide, and he can just talk about the project that we did in Dubai, because that is very much useful for a lot of different countries, especially in US.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, let me put that up. Yeah, sure. So basically, like, this is a software that we have built for a waste management company in Dubai. So what do? Is they go to multiple malls, residential buildings, schools every day, and they pick up waste from those organizations. Okay. And what we do from a software front is we have weighing scales deployed physically in those locations. Every waste producer, okay, they have an NFC card and the QR code. They can come in. There's a tab which have been placed, and they just tap their card on that iPad. It detects who that user is or the customer is. They can weigh their weight, and then that is picked up by the waste management company every day. Okay. Then we can see this particular dashboard, okay, where we get to see how many locations do we have, what waste are we generating from what location, how much of that is recyclable, how much of that is like glass and all of that e-waste, which is segregated. And based on this pickup, the company charges every individual waste producer. Okay. Because previously what used to happen, so this company picks up waste at Dubai Mall as well, which is the largest urban waste generation single entity in the world. Okay, so they had a challenge, like how do we charge the shop owners? There are thousands of shop in the mall, and how do we charge them? So, like when we deployed this, now they have a real-time data. Okay, as you can see on this graph, like we are closely monitoring everything. Now they can generate report, they can add customers, okay, who can have a look, and then they can see how much waste have we picked up. Maybe going forward, they also might have a plan to integrate carbon credits distribute, right? So they get to know from which particular location we picked up the waste, and maybe those credits will be sent back to that particular business. Like that can be their plan going forward. Most of the green energy projects are going into that direction. So just giving it a thought. So this is an like end-to-end solution. So you have weight scales, then the software, you have NFC card, okay, which can be tapped against.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. I hope that helps.
It does help. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the last 10 minutes or so, I think the conversation's been great. It's great to hear more in depth of what you're doing. So thank you so much. Certainly, anyone else who speaks, feel free to ask any questions. And so, Onkar and Sayali, if you don't mind hanging on for a little bit, I'd like to open up the floor to others here in the room. Maha is in the room, and so is RT. When I'm thinking about some of the folks that we have on our team in India, RT and Maha and anybody else, the floor is yours. What would you like to share today, please? Any questions or new information?
Hello, Doug, and yeah, this is Maha here. Excuse me, folks, for keeping my video off. I joined a little bit late, but tech being one of my favorite topic and the integration you are doing, I just want to know what is your as world is becoming crazy with this AI agents, AI assistants, marketing. Of course, as Sayali said, people don't understand tech. Tech is a complex for business owners and business people. In that case, how do you make it easier for people to understand and implement tech in their regular business operations? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the question. So, like whenever we have to pitch anything to any client, so the first thing that they would expect is like, what is it in for me, right? So typically, how we justify is like they are saving one of the metric, either time or money. Okay, If we are improving their operations, we are probably saving some resources for them, or maybe we are saving time for those resources, which is in turn giving out them a value, right? So now it depends on like which process are we automating, what is the current resource load on that, what will be after the implementation. So we analyze that, and that is how we show value, and it like works very well every time, right? Because business people understand business, they are not really much interested into how are you developing that software or what technology is it. But if we tell them like you will save $100,000 by end of the year, they are happy to explore those paths.
Yeah,
Right,
that's true.
exactly.
Thank you,
I
Onkar.
I hope
Yeah.
that answers.
Yeah. So we
Yes,
always talk about ROI on the investment. They do it with us, and we do a kind of discovery phase. We always get in a pre-engagement discussion and then do a short discovery phase so that they don't have to invest too much at first, but understand how the entire process works like and what exactly they are trying to achieve. So once we have that clarity, then it becomes easy for them to understand what is return on investment for them and how it
that's
can
great.
bring value.
That's great. So with respect to Indian MSME, that's the biggest part I work with. So which part of the business operations do you get regular request for? And how long does it take for you to, of course, it would be a customization and the time varies depending upon the complex of the requirement or the request. But can you share one or two use case with respect to Indian MSME and which particular major business operation you have the request most for?
Yeah, Maha. So holistically looking at like the top two would be CRM and a project management. Like majority of the businesses, they still do not have a good CRM in place, right? And they are kind of then losing business, right? If they do not know where their leads are, what are their statuses, opportunities, they are losing money. And then project management is something like like we call it a leaking revenue bucket in the company, right? If a project is not executed well, then you are probably that is being a cost overhead on your company. So project management and CRM are the two, I think, very wide request bucket that we get generally.
Thank you, Anka. Thank you. Thank you, Sayali.
Hello, Doug. Good morning, good evening to all.
Hey,
Aarti here.
hi,
Sorry, I
RT.
was traveling, so I kept my camera off. So, whatever, I mean, I joined little late, but whatever I've heard so far is really very interesting. And I would like to ask Omkar about, because most of my members or my clients are SMEs, they are coming from the segment of micro, small and medium enterprises or SMEs. So the technology you introduce, does it applicable to them, and mostly is it affordable to them? Can I ask that? Because that's
Yes,
that's the
yes.
that's the first question which arises when I'm dealing with the SMEs or MSMEs here in India.
Yeah, Aarti, like that's a good question. So we actually had a similar thought because when we were working in services, we were majorly working with out of India clients. Okay, and like when we did a Monday.com project for one of our Mexico client, that company referred us for a Monday partnership, and then our question was like, is it something that companies in India would love to implement? Okay, but then what we have seen is companies are again like very open to see the value behind it. If I am investing X dollars, okay, and if I'm getting more than that, like they are happy to do that on a particular time frame. Okay, of course we do have a product suite based on the need. For example, we cannot go for an enterprise deployment for a, let's say, 30 employee sized company. So we do have a different product suite for that. But of course, like people are very open to have softwares in the company overall in general is what we see, right? Because that gives them visibility. Okay, like that gives them uh, added time saving going forward. So
Yeah,
maybe like
and
if you're open, like we can connect
yeah,
separately and we can discuss some actual
yeah.
case studies as well.
And Aarti, there are different ways how a particular software solution can be implemented. So based upon what client is able to afford, we can definitely get, help of other existing SaaS products in the market, do in-app customizations, get them a first temporary solution, which until which, they can increase their business and have some funds to invest more and get something more customizable that they can own, and then they don't have to, keep spending the subscription cost as well. So there are different ways the same kind of solution, the business problems can be solved in different ways when we actually implement it. So we do take into consideration what kind of business model they have, what the size is, what kind of expansion they are trying to seek, and what level of budget they have got. So based on all of those discussions, we come up with a solution, and we always give them different plans and for them to choose from based on how they are envisioning to grow their business.
That's amazing. Sayali, Onkar, thank you so much. And I will get in touch with you individually also to, know more about it. And if I have some questions, I'll certainly connect with you all on a personal message. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, look forward, Aarti.
Thank you, RT. Does anybody else have any questions? We've only got a couple minutes left. Anything else to add? Any news that's going on? So you're part of the monthly Global Chamber India Metro Meetup. I was just looking inside our website and I was seeing where we have chapters, and I I searched India and it came up with Indianapolis or Indiana as well, but it looks like we have about a dozen chapters: Ahmedabad, the Bengaluru chapter, Chennai, Hyderabad, Indore, Jaipur, Kerala, Kolkata, Mumbai, Delhi or New Delhi, Pune, Surat, and Goa. And then a couple others. One I don't know the town, but at least those are the main ones. If there are cities that I've left out there that should be included, please let us know. One of the things that we have been doing the last couple months and definitely the last couple weeks is to getting our chapters back up and running and getting some new chapters in India and around the world. And so we have been mainly starting in some other places, but we'll be approaching India in March for some new chapters. And so if you have some ideas of people who are good leaders with global business in some of the cities that I mentioned, please let us know. Sali Alimam and also Akala Raisa are two of our team members who are helping with that initiative. I would ask maybe Sayali if you wanted to make some final comments, and then we'll close the room.
Absolutely. So there is a buzz in about AI as well in the market these days. So a lot of businesses and companies do not understand that they cannot just get AI as because they think it is going to help their business, but they need to have certain readiness, certain level of automation implemented in their business. So that's where we will help businesses deploying the bots, which actually takes care of repetitive and manual work that their team is doing. So the robotic process automation is a solution that we provide for companies to get AI ready. And we are also working in AI space for implementing AI chatbot and some behavioral tools for the behavioral tracking tools for the scientific research and other things. So it is AI, even they are saying it is kind of a baby right now, but it is going to really grow in next few decades here, and a lot of businesses are trying to get in, but we really need to have a good understanding how it is going to help businesses. Only then it is going to help. So all such kind of technical consultation, also we help businesses in what direction they need to move. And that's where our expertise come in. So it's not just implementing some software solutions, but a good consultation is also very must. And that's where we encourage companies to speak with reliable tech partners, and we'll be always happy to help uh, anyone from the global chamber community who is looking for such kind of solution.
Thank you very much. Watch for our next cross metro meetup for India next month, toward the end of the month, probably the last Wednesday of the month, like it was this month. And then our next event is in 90 minutes. We have our monthly Women in Global Leadership conversation. So if you're a woman and you'd like to connect up with other amazing women around the world, zoom in 90 minutes. You can find the information on our calendar. And then the final meeting that we have a couple events tomorrow and a couple events on Friday. And the final one is actually Export League, which Maha is involved with orchestrating for India coming up in the next couple months. And so watch for news on that. The one that's going on now is in Phoenix, and it's not really well timed for people in India to attend the training for the Phoenix one, but hopefully we're able to move forward with an Export League for India, and the timing will be a lot better for local. Thanks everybody for joining today. Hope to see you at another event. And if you're a member of Global Chamber, just reach out anytime and we're happy to make connections. Let's grow, let's be global and unstoppable, and continue to be successful. Thanks to both of our speakers. Sayali, you're amazing. Really appreciate all your support. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you.